Hello there, everyone. Welcome back. Richard the Guru here, and today we are back with another Top 10 video. Today we are doing the Top 10 NBA players of all time. Now, this is a very controversial list because players played in different times, different eras, but how I'm basing this list, one, of course, championships, two, a player's dominance over his opponents, three, yeah, that's pretty much it. Their their stats. Their dominance, their championships, their stats, and how they influenced the basketball game when they were on the court. So, we are going to start at number 10 with Hakeem Olajuwon. The big man who peaked in his 30s and had a bit of an awkward career. In his 20s, he was not really that prominent of a player. We always knew he could be good, but once he hit his 30s, he became great. On both sides of the ball, he became a powerful force. If he was playing today, he'd probably compete with LeBron and Westbrook and Durant for like a top 5 position in the NBA. He was that good on both sides of the ball. He wasn't a bad shooter, for a center anyway. He was great on defense, absolutely ridiculous. He was one of the biggest athletes and most versatile for his size as a 7-footer that we have ever seen in the NBA. And he is, despite the championships that he didn't really ever win, he is number 10 on our list. Hakeem Olajuwon. That is really one of the only questionable ones, as he didn't have any super outstanding career stats or anything like that, but he was just such a dominant force when he played the game that he is on this list. Number 9. The all-time scoring leader in the NBA, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So, this guy's got to be on here. When you lead the NBA, a league known for shooters today, where guys are hitting threes like crazy, and you're the leading scorer of all time, and you were not a good three-point shooter, your signature move was a sky hook shot, you are pretty damn good at basketball. If you are scoring 38,000 plus points, and you are shit at three-pointers. That's how dominant Kareem was. He didn't take that many threes in his career. Yeah, he took some every season, but he was not ever very good at them. But he was so dominant inside, and he was so consistent, that he was always scoring points. And that sky hook shot was almost ridiculous to stop. He mastered it. If he took it, he made it. He rarely missed those. And of course, 38,000 plus points, multiple championships. He is our number 9 player on the list. And now we will move on to the first of what I call the big 3 from the 20th century. At least the big 3 that most people know. I have Larry Bird here at number 8. Larry Bird, he's good. He was good. He won multiple titles. He was a great scorer. He didn't shoot that many threes in his career. Not as much as other players did. But, there we go. Why do my lights keep doing that? I have no idea. I gotta fix that. Anyway, Larry Bird is number 8 on our list, despite the multiple championships and everything, and him at one point being considered one of the 3 best players ever. I still don't think he's the best Boston Celtic ever. So, yeah, there's another Boston Celtic on this list, and no, it is not Paul Pierce. I'm sorry, Paul Pierce, but it is not you. You're great, but you're not a top 10 player ever. Not a chance in hell. Alright, so Larry Bird is number 8 on this list. We will drop down to his probably biggest rival to ever step foot on the basketball court. The two of them were huge rivals from college to the professionals. Magic Johnson. Earvin Magic Johnson, number 7 on this list. One of the best big point guards to ever play the game, like at 6, whatever, how tall he is. He was a graceful point guard for his size, and he was a great passer, a great shooter, a great rebounder. Won multiple titles, was dominant on the court. He was one of the best passers I've ever seen. So, and yeah, despite the fact of that, he is only number 7 on this list. I have 2 more Lakers, of course, you can probably guess who they are by now, above them. Actually, our next guy is also a Laker. Number 6, Shaquille O'Neal. Now, there are a lot of people who won't say Shaq is one of the top 10 players to ever play this game. I'll beg to differ. He was one of the most dominant players, despite his shitty free throws. He is one of the most dominant players to ever step on the court. He won what? 1, 2, 3, 4 titles, I believe, with LA and Miami. Did he win a fifth? I'm not sure. I don't remember off the top of my head. But he was still one of the most successful players of all time. His size, his strength, and of course he sucked at free throws and he wasn't a great shooter. But he was a dominant force. You could not stop him. And when you went up against him one-on-one, he would take you and just crush you. Shaquille O'Neal was a dominant presence on the basketball court. And of course his counterpart, Kobe Bryant, is also on this list. He's a little bit higher. But Shaquille O'Neal, despite all his faults on the basketball court, I have him at number 6. Number 5, Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan is perhaps, I don't want to say underrated, but there have always been Spurs big men that have been really underrated. David Robertson, honorable mention. He was in my top 20. But Tim Duncan, on this list, 5 titles. 5. Never had a losing record when he played. Ever. His team made the playoffs every year he played. His team made the playoffs. That's insane. And after that first title, his team won like 50 games, 12-something years in a row. That's nuts. The consistency. Of course, part of that consistency goes to Greg Popovich, and you can't really fault him for that, because the system is absolutely amazing that he runs. But Tim Duncan, one of the most dominant players to ever step on the court. 5 titles, always consistent, always he could score, he could rebound, he wasn't a bad passer, and he was better than Shaq at free throws. But just his presence on the court. He was calm, cool, collected. He never really showed any rage or anger. His team that he led for 20 years was consistent, never really having a bad season, ever. They always made the playoffs. They were always in the title hunt. Even when he was getting older, and he was like 36, 37, 38, his team was still in the title hunt. And he was leading it. It's insane. His level of consistency over the course of a career was absolutely nuts. He never really had of course he had some big highs, but he never really had the lows. He never really, he would peak and he'd go down to a medium. He would peak and he'd go down to a medium. Where most guys go up and down in their careers, even night to night. He was he was like a rock. He just never really screwed up. He was always consistent and always played the right way. So Tim Duncan is number 5 on this list. Number 4, Kobe Bryant. Also a winner of 5 championships. One of the most prolific players to ever step on the court. Scoring, absolutely insane. 81 points in a game. That's nuts. One of the best scorers to ever play the game. A great passer as well. And one of the best, he's one of the best pure shooters I've ever seen to play this game. It's beautiful to watch him play basketball. And he just dominates the game. His presence on the court was nuts. Of course, and the 5 titles he won shows how freaking good he was. So, Kobe Bryant, number 4 on this list. Now we will get into the top 3. This is a name that a lot of people don't think about here at number 3. A lot of people even forget about him, which I think is a huge shame. I actually met him once when I was much younger. I believe I was 10 or 11. I met him, I got his autograph, shook his hand when I was a little kid. Bill Russell. Bill Russell won 11 championships. Despite the fact that he played in the 50s and 60s, where it was a much easier era in the NBA, talent-wise and competition-wise. He won 11 fucking championships, guys. 11! Do you know how hard that is? In the span of one career, which, he played 15, 16 years, maybe 17. He won a championship most of the seasons he played. That's insane. There are guys who have won as a player and a coach, like Phil Jackson. Well, not as a player and a coach, but as a coach. Like Phil Jackson won 11 titles as a coach. But as a player, to win 11 titles is absolutely nuts. Dude, he was so dominant. On the inside, he was an absolute force to be reckoned with. It was insane. But hey, Bill Russell is solely here, despite the fact that he's one of the best inside players I've ever seen play the game. 11 championships. There is rarely, because of the competition today in the NBA, there is not going to be anyone who touches that mark for a long, long time. As a player, at least. So, that is why he is in a class of his own, almost. Even though he's not number one on this list. We all know who number one is. But Bill Russell is an unbelievable player. One of the greatest players to ever play this game. And 11 titles. That's more than the GOAT. That's 5 more than the GOAT. Yeah. He played about the same seasons as guys like Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson. Well, Magic Johnson retired early, of course. He might be a bit higher on this list if he didn't. Like Larry Bird. He played about the same number of years. But he won almost every year he played. Despite the competition level, regardless of what it is, that's insane. That is absolutely insane. So that is why Bill Russell is number 3 on this list. Number 2, LeBron James. Now, a lot of people may not think I am sane for saying this, where he should, hey, he's only got 3 titles. He's lost in the finals, 4 times? Hey, he's got 3 titles. A lot of players in the NBA don't ever win one or don't ever even make a finals. Some players play and don't ever even make the playoffs. But LeBron James has made, 7 straight NBA finals? And won 3 of them? That's pretty, or 6, that's pretty damn good. By the end of his career, he could make 9 or 10 straight finals if he keeps Cleveland running smooth like that, or wherever he goes. Making that many finals in a row, even if you don't win them all, like, let's say, Michael Jordan did, or Bill Russell, is absolutely insane. The consistency level, the dominance he has over an era where there are so many dominant players. When he gets on the court, he can do everything. He can pass, he can rebound, he can shoot, he can dunk. He can do everything you need him to do on the basketball court. And he is one of the most clutch players I've ever seen. Despite the fact that he may not be as great of a shooter, he has grown that over the course of his career. He has become an amazing shooter. He wasn't when he started his career. He was just a real good inside guy. He was a great dunker. He had great speed, great power. But he was not a great shooter. But he grew into that. He is probably the most dominant player of this century. At least so far, from when he was drafted in 2003. So, there are a couple more guys who may take that title from him in the next few years, but he has a legacy of, he's been playing now 15 years in the NBA. I still remember watching him get drafted, and I was like 7 when I watched him get drafted. So, I still remember that, and I've seen almost every game he's played. He is so consistent and so strong and so powerful. It is beautiful to watch. He is this generation's Michael Jordan. That is the best way to put it. Now, of course, we move on to number 1 on our list, Michael Jordan, the GOAT. Michael Jordan is the player that every NBA player is compared to when they say, oh, this is one of the greatest players to ever play the game. Is he better than Michael Jordan? What does he compare towards Michael Jordan? Michael Jordan is the pedestal that all NBA players strive to reach. 6 championships in 8 years. Of course, it could have been 8 if he hadn't left and played baseball for 2 years. It could have been 8 titles. He won 6 in a row. 91, 92, 93, 96, 97. Or 95, 96, 97. Dude! He left for 2 years and came back. And still won 3 more titles after not playing basketball for 2 years on a professional level. That's insane! Okay, he could have won 7 titles. He could have won 8 if he had stayed. The Bulls dominated the 90s in a way no team, except maybe Bill Russell's Boston Celtics in the 50s and 60s, dominated. Ever. Such dominance. And of course, Scottie Pippen is also another honorable mention on my list. He was like 11 or 12. Because despite he was the sidekick, he was the Robin to Michael Jordan, he was still good. But anyway, Michael Jordan, the GOAT, number 1 on this list, greatest player of all time. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of my list. If you think there's anyone that shouldn't be on there, if you think there's someone that should have been on there. I know I left off guys like Scottie Pippen, Oscar Robertson, and other big names that could have been there, but not. So that is going to be it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. The top 10 NBA players of all time. I hope you agree with my list. If you don't, please let me know in the comments what you think. Please subscribe if you enjoyed. Richard the Guru, signing off. Peace out.